Let's take a look at this unusual antenna today. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Hey, welcome back guys, Jason KM4ACK. If you've been around the channel any length of time whatsoever, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of wire antennas. That's always my preference because they're small, they're light, they work well, and they're easy to deploy. However, there are times that I've been out in the RV and just didn't have enough footprint in our site to deploy a wire antenna. And when Chat Radio offered for me to check out this Horizon antenna, well, I saw the small footprint and I definitely had to say yes. Now this is the Horizon Shooting Star antenna package, and it covers 10 through 40 meters. It comes in at around 10 pounds, and this is what they call a vertical dipole. Now, 10 through 40 meters is just slightly misleading. 10 through 20, you can do without a tuner. When it comes to 40 meters, well, you're going to need a tuner because the SWR, from my experience, has come in at right around 3-to-1, and they even tell you that in the manual that you are going to need to touch up the 40 meter section if you want to use it, and that's going to require a tuner. Now, one of the claims to fame for this antenna is the low takeoff angle. They claim 27 degrees, more or less, is your takeoff angle. So this thing should work fantastic for DX, although it may not work as well for those close-in stations. Setup is fairly straightforward, and it takes me roughly 6 or 7 minutes to get this antenna up and on the air. It all folds down very nicely into a small little duffel bag that's included with this kit. Now, I've got kind of the POTA package antenna. So these are more of a plastic style base that you're using at the base of this one. They do offer other packages that are designed for more of a permanent installation. And they did caution me, don't leave this one out as a permanent installation because UV over time is probably going to do some damage to these legs if it's sitting out there day in and day out. But they assure me that I won't have any problems taking it out and doing a POTA activation with it. Now, one interesting caveat with this antenna is the coax, and they tell you that the coax should come off of the transformer here at roughly a 45-degree angle. So I've got mine laid out here at a 45, and I just took an extra bag that I had in the truck and laid that on the ground so that it keeps it at that 45-degree angle. But let's go ahead now and hook this thing up to an 891, and let's see what the SWR looks like on it. All right, so we're just going to start right here at 50 megahertz, and let's go ahead, and I've got that, by the way, set to AM, and the SWR is right here on this bar. Now, they don't claim that it will work at 50 megahertz, but here's what I have found. I'm getting less than 2-to-1 right there on 50 megahertz. Now, let's take a look at a few of the others. So let's come up here to 28. I'm still in FM. We're at 28,350 and just under 2-to-1 right there. Let's see what we've got. Let's go ahead and move to 24, and let's take a look at that one. And just slightly over 2-to-1 on that one. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's go back up to 21,311, and I'm at 1.5 right there. Let's move up to 18, and man, 18 barely moves the needle on the SWR. So 18 looks good. Let's go ahead and check 20 meters and see what the, look at that, 1.5, maybe 1.6-to-1 on 20 meters. That's at 14,246. Let's go down a little lower in the band. So let's hit that fast button and make that go a little quicker. And let's see, right there about 14,166, and man, 1.5 barely, so not very much at all. All right, let's continue on. Now let's check out 40 meters. Again, we're on FM. Make sure we're not interfering with anybody here. And yeah, that actually 40 looks better this morning than it looked the last time I checked this. So just over 2-to-1 SWR right there. I could use this with this radio without a tuner at all this morning. That can change just a little bit based on your ground underneath you and how close you might be to a metal object. If I move this out a little bit further away from the truck, it might change just a little bit. In fact, that's a good idea. Let's move this thing a little ways away from the truck and see if it makes any difference. All right, so we were roughly at 20 feet maybe away from the truck. I've moved it out to about 35 feet away from the truck, so almost double the distance. And 40 meters still looks good. So it's interesting because the manual definitely told us we weren't going to get 40 meters probably without a tuner. Let's look at 20 meters and look at that 1.6. So not a whole lot of difference here. Let's look at 18 real quick. Look at that, barely moving the meter on 18. Let's look at 21, just under 2 to 1 on that. Let's look at 24, just under 2 to 1 right there. 28, right at 2 to 1 on that one, maybe just a tick over on that. And let's go ahead and look at 50 again, and look at that, less than 2 to 1 on 50. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to run their antennas when they get up close to that 2 to 1 SWR. Honestly, I've never minded 2 to 1 SWR. Now, once it starts getting up 2.75 to 3, yeah, we definitely got to do something about that. But this would be absolutely perfect to run if you've got a limited footprint in an RV site. It's small enough that I can easily store this in one of the compartments, although I don't want to backpack with this antenna. It's a little bit excessive for that. But if you're got a small lot maybe and need something to put up where you don't have a lot of space around your house, this might be ideal for you. Huge shout out to Chat Radio for allowing us to check out this antenna and sponsoring today's video. If you found today's information helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.